Imagine waking up every day feeling like you are running on a treadmill that never stops. Working harder, pushing more, sacrificing sleep, and yet the finish line always moves further away. You give everything you have, yet deep down there's an emptiness, a quiet question you avoid. Am I truly creating my life, or am I simply reacting to whatever life throws at me? You try to stay motivated, but the same loop repeats. Effort, delay, disappointment, repeat. No matter how many hours you put in, something feels off, as if an invisible force is steering your reality. What if that force is not fate or luck, but the invisible signals you are sending out every moment, shaping every result you get? Science from the HeartMath Institute reveals that when your mind and emotions operate in true harmony, known as heart-brain coherence, your clarity sharpens, creativity expands, and decisions align with your deepest goals. This is not abstract theory, it is measurable, it is trainable, and it changes lives. John, a software engineer in Silicon Valley, spent years grinding through 70-hour weeks, chasing the promise of success, only to feel emptier each year. Everything shifted when he learned to work less but connect more deeply with his own energy. Within months, his income grew and his happiness soared because his actions no longer fought against his inner state. You may not see it yet, but this same principle is running your life right now. If your inner signals are scattered, your external results will always reflect that chaos. They are aligned, reality begins to bend in your favor. This is not about doing more. It is about becoming the source of coherence that naturally pulls the right opportunities, people, and outcomes into your path. In the next moments, you will discover the hidden key to breaking free from exhaustion, from cycles that drain you, from the illusion that you must endlessly push. Right now, allow yourself to ask the question that could change everything, because only when you ask the right question will you find the right answer, and the answer might be closer than you think. The secret is not to do more, but to adjust the inner energy so that every action flows with ease. When your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors move in different directions, you create a hidden friction that drains you faster than any workload ever could. This state, known as incoherence, silently sabotages progress by sending mixed signals into your own mind and to the world around you. Imagine trying to row a boat with one oar pulling forward and the other pulling backward. No matter how hard you work, you remain stuck in place. Now imagine both oars moving in perfect rhythm, each stroke gliding you forward without wasted effort. That is the power of alignment, the invisible state that allows you to achieve more without burning out. Adjusting your energy means shifting your internal frequency so that your choices, emotions, and intentions reinforce each other rather than collide. It is the reason why two people can put in the same hours, yet one ends the day exhausted while the other feels uplifted. Research by Dr. Joe Dispenza has shown that practicing coherence through simple meditation can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, by 23% in only 4 weeks, unlocking clarity, focus, and vitality. This is not just theory, it is lived experience. Sarah, a single mother in Texas, once juggled 3 jobs, racing from one obligation to another with no end in sight. Her life transformed when she learned to enter a state of coherence daily. She reduced her work to a single part-time role, yet her income doubled and her time with her children multiplied because her actions were now guided by insight instead of panic. When you align your energy, the universe responds like a mirror, reflecting your internal state, sending you opportunities, resources, and solutions that match your new vibration. It becomes less about force and more about flow, less about chasing and more about attracting. This is not magic, it is the natural law of resonance at work, the same principle that makes a tuning fork vibrate in harmony with another of the same pitch. Your life begins to take shape from the inside out, and what once felt heavy now feels like movement without resistance. So pause for a moment and picture tomorrow where every decision, every conversation, and every step is guided by a sense of lightness and certainty. If you could create that, what would your days look like? How would you feel? And who would you become? In the next part, you will discover exactly how to create this alignment even when everything around you feels like chaos. By controlling the only thing you truly have power over, your inner state. Life will always bring storms, sudden challenges, and unpredictable changes. But the truth is that the environment does not dictate your energy unless you hand it that control. Even in the most chaotic moments, you have the ability to regulate your internal rhythm, creating a stable center that no external event can shake. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to do this is through heart-focused breathing, a method where you bring your awareness to the area around your heart and breathe as if your breath is moving in and out from that space. As you slow your breathing and imagine it flowing through your chest, your heart rate begins to stabilize, sending signals to your brain that shift it into the alpha state, the calm and creative frequency where ideas flow and clarity returns. Science from Harvard Medical School confirms that just 5 minutes of this heart rate breathing can lower blood pressure, improve mood, and reduce tension, giving you a fast and reliable way to reset your energy. This is not just theory on paper. It works in real life, even in the most intense conditions. Mike, a firefighter in New York, used this technique before stepping into a burning building. In that moment, surrounded by danger and urgency, he steadied his mind and body through controlled breathing, allowing him to make clear decisions that saved 3 lives. When you anchor yourself in coherence in the middle of chaos, you not only think better, you respond from a place of strength instead of fear. The beauty of this practice is that it requires no equipment, no special setting, and no waiting. You can do it sitting at your desk, in your car, before a meeting, or even in the middle of a heated conversation. The more you practice, the more your nervous system learns to return to balance faster, making it a natural reflex. You begin to realize that the storm outside can only control you if it controls the storm inside. So take a breath right now. Slow it down, feel it move through the center of your chest, and notice how your world inside begins to shift. From this place of stability, you are no longer just reacting, you are choosing. And every choice from here shapes a different outcome. In the next step, you will see what happens when you start observing yourself instead of being swept away by automatic reactions. When you observe yourself, you are changing the very data you live by. This is not just a poetic idea. It is a principle found in quantum physics, known as the observer effect, where the act of watching something influences its behavior. In the physical world, particles can act differently simply because they are being measured. And in the human experience, your awareness can shift how your mind and body respond. When you become aware of your emotions instead of being swept up by them, you interrupt the automatic patterns that normally take over. It is like hitting a pause button in the middle of a movie, giving you the chance to choose a new scene instead of replaying the same one over and over. The Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Program has shown that human consciousness can influence random systems, suggesting that your thoughts and focus are not passive. They are active forces shaping the field around you. In daily life, this means that when you slow down to notice how you feel before acting, you are already changing the outcome. Lisa, an investor in Chicago, used to make quick decisions driven by impulse, often ending up with poor results. She began practicing observation. She learned to spot the subtle tension in her body before committing to a choice. Over time, she found that taking even a few moments to watch her state shifted her judgment completely, and within 1 year, her portfolio increased by 40%. The act of observing does not mean withdrawing from life, it means stepping into the role of director rather than being an actor trapped in a script written by past habits. You begin to see that every reaction you have is an option, not a command. And from there, you can create responses that align with who you want to be. This is the point where awareness transforms from a passive skill into a tool for redesigning reality itself. So picture yourself holding the camera in your own story, knowing that changing the angle changes the meaning of the scene. From that position, you are no longer at the mercy of events. You are shaping them with intention. Imagine the power of walking through life knowing that your gaze, your focus, and your attention are not just witnessing the world, but sculpting it in real time. In the next part, you will see whether destiny is fixed or if you have the ability to choose a different path. Destiny is only one among countless timelines waiting for you to match its frequency. This means your life is not locked into a single unchangeable path, but rather exists as one of many possible realities, each shaped by the choices you make and the energy you carry. In physics, the many worlds theory by Hugh Everett proposes that all possible outcomes exist in parallel, like countless roads stretching in every direction from the point where you stand. The key to stepping onto a different path is not to run harder or push further, but to shift your internal state so that you naturally align with the version of reality you want to live in. When you adjust your energy, you begin to resonate with the experiences, people, and opportunities that match that frequency. And just as a radio tunes into a station, your life tunes into the events that belong to that channel. David, a doctor in Boston, once believed he was born to struggle, carrying a story that hardship was his inevitable fate. Year after year, he repeated the same cycles until he decided to change the way he thought and felt each day. By practicing daily gratitude and focusing on what was working rather than what was missing, he began to shift his state, and over time, his circumstances transformed. Patients began to arrive who valued his work, income increased, and personal relationships flourished, all without him forcing the change through sheer effort. This is the power of choosing your timeline, not by chasing it in the physical world first, but by embodying it internally so that the external reality has no choice but to match. The future you desire is not far away in time. It exists now as a potential that you can synchronize with through consistent alignment of thought, feeling, and action. When you start living as if you are already there, your behavior, your decisions, and your responses naturally begin to create it. You do not have to break free from destiny because it is not a prison. It is a treasure chest of infinite options waiting for you to open the one that matches your true desire. So ask yourself, which version of your life are you tuning into right now? And if it is not the one you want, what can you shift inside today to resonate with the one you choose? In the next part, you will discover how to turn this ability into a natural habit you can live by every single day. By starting with small actions but from a state of coherence. The shift from knowing something to living it begins the moment you choose to embody what you desire rather than just think about it. Embodiment means acting, speaking, and making choices as if your goal is already a present reality, not a distant dream. When you wake up and step into the day as the person who has already achieved what you want, your brain and body begin to synchronize with that version of you. This is not pretending. It is programming your nervous system to recognize that state as normal. Research from UCLA shows that assuming the identity of your desired self activates the same brain regions as actually achieving it, meaning your mind starts wiring the pathways needed for that outcome. Over time, the more you inhabit this state, the more natural it becomes, until it is no longer an effort, but a reflex. Coherence is the foundation because when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move together, each small step compounds without resistance. Anna, an athlete in Florida, practiced this every morning by visualizing herself as a national champion, feeling the confidence, hearing the cheers, and training with that energy. 2 years later, she did not just imagine it, she stood on the podium as the winner. What made the difference was not luck or sudden opportunity, but the daily alignment between her inner state and her outward behavior. This approach works because the outer world is a mirror of the inner world, and when you maintain a consistent vibration, reality has no choice but to reflect it. The mistake many people make is waiting for the big moment to change how they act or feel, when in truth, the change starts now in the smallest gestures, the way you walk into a room, the tone you use, the choices you make about where to focus your attention. Each micro-action signals to your subconscious that you are already living the new reality, which then shapes your automatic patterns. Soon, you find yourself taking the right steps without overthinking, meeting the right people without forcing it, and noticing opportunities that match your state. The simplicity is in doing less but being more, allowing the quality of your inner world to guide the quantity of your actions. When you live from coherence, momentum builds effortlessly, and the line between theory and habit disappears. In the next part, you will see what truly stops most people from maintaining this state. Once they begin, forcing yourself to always be positive creates misalignment. When you push away authentic emotions in favor of a manufactured smile, you create an inner split that quietly drains your energy. Real coherence is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about aligning with what is true in the moment and allowing that truth to be processed without resistance. There is a crucial difference between genuine optimism that grows from clarity and forced positivity that hides discomfort under a mask. The first builds resilience, the second erodes it. When doubt appears, most people either try to fight it or deny it, but both approaches feed the tension. Observing doubt without judgment allows it to dissolve naturally, freeing the energy it was holding. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology confirms that suppressing negative feelings increases anxiety and reduces recovery, while acknowledging them supports mental balance. This is because the nervous system is designed to process and release emotions, not lock them away. Kevin, a marketing executive in Seattle, spent years projecting confidence while feeling burnt out inside. His days were filled with long meetings, high targets, and the pressure to appear unshakable. The more he hid his exhaustion, the heavier it became. When he began to admit his real state, even privately to himself, something shifted. He stopped wasting energy on pretending and redirected it toward actions that genuinely restored him. His focus sharpened, his creativity returned, and he found a sustainable rhythm. This is the hidden power of authenticity, where accepting your actual experience removes the friction between what you feel and what you show. Instead of battling shadows, you turn on the light by becoming fully present with what is. The moment you stop labeling emotions as good or bad, they lose control over you, and your inner state becomes stable enough to guide your actions with clarity. This does not mean indulging in negativity. It means meeting it with awareness so it moves through you rather than staying stuck. Imagine no longer fearing moments of doubt, but using them as signals to reconnect with your center. From this place, your energy flows cleanly, without the leaks created by internal conflict. You realize that the strength you were chasing through forced positivity was already within you, waiting for honesty to unlock it. In the next part, you will learn how to turn on that inner light even in the darkest moments. By connecting with your higher self, the clearest, wisest part of you. This is the part beyond fear, beyond noise. The quiet guide that has always been there but often gets drowned out by daily demands and constant distractions. To access it, you do not need to seek approval from the outside. You need to turn inward and create space to listen. Two powerful tools for this are meditation and journaling. Meditation allows you to slow down the mental chatter, creating an open channel where insights can surface without being forced. Journaling gives those insights a place to land, making them tangible and easier to recognize the next time they arise. Your higher self often communicates through intuition, a knowing that bypasses the logical checklist and speaks directly to your core. Research from the University of Amsterdam shows that intuition can lead to faster and more accurate decisions in complex situations, proving it is not vague guesswork, but a form of deep intelligence. Emily, a designer in Los Angeles, once ignored her inner voice when deciding on a partnership, relying solely on external factors. The deal collapsed and she lost a major opportunity. Determined not to repeat that mistake, she began practicing daily connection with her intuition through quiet reflection and written self-dialogue. Months later, she trusted a subtle instinct to pursue a project others dismissed. That decision led to $1 million contract and a wave of new clients. This is the difference between living reactively and living guided. When you align with your higher self, decisions feel lighter because they are not made from fear of loss, but from clarity about what resonates with you. This inner guidance does not shout, it whispers, and the more you listen, the stronger and clearer it becomes. It can guide you away from paths that look appealing but drain your energy, and lead you toward opportunities that feel right even before the mind understands why. Connecting with this part of yourself is not a luxury. It is a daily practice that keeps your actions and energy aligned. Imagine waking each morning with a sense of direction that does not depend on unpredictable events or opinions. That is the gift of living from your higher self. The voice is always there, waiting for you to pause long enough to hear it. In the next part, you will discover how to turn this intuitive connection into a reliable, everyday tool instead of a rare moment of insight. By training it like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Intuition is not a mysterious gift reserved for a few. It is a natural ability that can be developed through consistent practice. One of the most effective ways to strengthen it is through micro-decisions. The small daily choices that seem insignificant but carry powerful training value. These could be as simple as deciding which route to take, what to eat, or when to send a message. But instead of overthinking, you pause for a moment, listen to the subtle inner signal, and act on it. Each time you follow that quiet pull, you give your subconscious a chance to prove its accuracy. Over time, you build a personal record of intuitive wins, and this record becomes proof that your inner guidance can be trusted. Writing down these outcomes reinforces the connection, because your mind sees the evidence that your instincts often lead you in the right direction. Research from the University of Leeds confirms that intuition is the result of rapid information processing from stored experiences, meaning your inner sense is actually drawing on a vast internal database that works faster than conscious analysis. Mark, an entrepreneur in Denver, began to apply this by trusting his right feeling when selecting partners. He avoided 3 deals that, on paper, looked profitable, but would have cost him hundreds of thousands in losses. This did not happen by chance. It was the result of repeatedly tuning in to his own signals until they became clear and reliable. Practicing micro-decisions builds confidence without the pressure of high-stakes situations. So when a major choice arrives, you already have the skill and trust to act without hesitation. The key is consistency, because intuition grows sharper with use, just like any trained ability. When you integrate this practice into your daily life, it stops being an occasional spark and becomes a guiding compass that works in real time. Imagine moving through each day with a deep trust in your ability to make the right call. Not because of guesswork, but because you have trained your inner system to read situations instantly. Every choice, no matter how small, shapes the path ahead, and with each one, you are sculpting the reality you step into next. In the final part, you will see the last step to becoming the conscious creator of your own life. The final step is to act immediately when your energy is at its highest state of coherence. This is the moment when your mind, emotions, and intentions are aligned. and hesitation would only allow doubt or distraction to seep in. Action taken. From this alignment carries a unique power because it is fueled by clarity rather than pressure. The journey you have taken so far has been built on 3 core principles. First, coherence, the state where your inner world is synchronized and stable. Second, observation, the awareness that allows you to choose rather than react. Third, intentional action steps taken with purpose that move you toward your chosen reality. When you combine these principles and act in the very moment your energy peaks, you create momentum that is hard to break. Science backs this up. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that taking immediate action reduces the risk of procrastination by 80%, which means the gap between thought and execution is the key to keeping your goals alive. One way to lock this in is to create a daily starting ritual, something simple yet symbolic that signals to your mind and body, it is time to move. This could be a deep breath, writing down the first task, or even standing up and speaking your intention aloud. Rachel, an author in New York, transformed her career by committing to act within 5 seconds of having an idea. She did not allow herself the luxury of overthinking. 2 years later, her book reached bestseller status, a result she traces back to the discipline of instant action from a place of alignment. The truth is, ideas lose their power the longer they wait. But when acted upon in their most inspired state, they can shift the course of your life. This is why it matters to prepare yourself to be ready. So when the surge of energy comes, you are not looking for motivation. You are already in motion. As you stand at this point, remember that your future is shaped not by what you intend to do someday, but by what you do in the next breath. So write down one small action you will take today and let that be the spark that ignites the rest. Thank you for choosing to be here in this moment among countless possibilities. This meeting between us is not by accident. It is the alignment of 2 paths converging for a reason.